I was just about to get some kind of everyday canning done, and I realized how shockingly quiet it was in the neighborhood today and in my house. I have no dogs and cats biting, there are no trucks backing up, there are no nail guns putting new roofs on, there are no lawnmowers, and I thought, my goodness, Carter, turn on the camera because it doesn't happen very often. So I thought I'd just spend the day with you in my kitchen. I am doing a couple of items that I noticed I was missing in the pantry tour, which, well, you haven't seen it yet, but it'll be last week's video. So I'm going to do some chicken soup because I'm kind of low on that heading into winter. I'm also going to can some just plain rotisserie chicken. And then if we have time, I'm going to make some fire cider to go ahead and get that put up for the holidays because Christmas is at my house this year. So I've got everybody coming in, don't want anybody getting sick, keep all those immune systems running on high speed while everybody's here, and in fact leading up to that. So let's go. Quick and simple. Glad you're with me today. I kind of cheated. I got just rotisserie chicken from Costco, so I have a ton of it. I'm hoping that I have enough left over that we can have chicken tikka masala for dinner, and so that's the plan. All right, I'm going to do 4 jars of chicken soup and 4 jars of just the chicken in some broth. So let's get these set up. I'm just going to do a cold pack. And you know, when you do soup, if it's a real soupy soup, and you have it, 50% or less of stuff in there, whether it's chicken or vegetables or whatever, then the processing time for pressure canning is going to be 60 minutes at a pint. Because I'm just going to do 4 jars of the soup and 4 jars of the rotisserie chicken, so I don't overload myself again. I'm just going to do it all for 75 minutes, and it'll be just fine. That way I can do them all in the same canner and not worry about it. So let's do soup first. So I'm just going to bring out these 4 jars, and this is just, so super basic. It's kind of silly. So no recipe today. I'm just going to do some celery and carrots, onions, some herbs, probably some garlic powder. I don't have any fresh garlic right now. Oh, I do have that garlic from Costco, so maybe I'll do some of that. And because I'm going to do these for 75 minutes for meat time, I can add as much meat in here as I want. I do want enough broth left because David usually likes me to put, noodles or rice or something in his chicken soup when he's not feeling good. So I'm going to add some celery. But I need a funnel. Ooh, onions got to me. Oh my goodness, they are strong. Okay, we're going to leave that at half an onion. I'll wash up my hands. Wow. Seems kind of wussy on the veggies, doesn't it? Let's see what it looks like with carrots. If I make these carrots too large, David will pick them out. I think I jinxed myself. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's now a truck backing up somewhere in the neighborhood. If you live in a subdivision or you've ever lived in a subdivision, particularly a subdivision where the homes are really close together. All of our lots are like a 1/4 acre or less, I think. So I'm pretty close to all my neighbors. There's always something going on. Usually it involves yard work. Okay, I think that's fine on veggies. All right, let's get some chicken in here. I am gonna get a different board so I can keep cutting veggies on that one later. Let's see if any of this needs to be chopped up. Maybe not. I'm going to chop the chicken for the soup, but I'm not going to chop it up much when I just go to can it as rotisserie chicken. Last time I baked chickens was when I made the chicken broth a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, something like that. And normally I would have made more chicken soup then, but I wanted to get some pre-cooked chicken breast in the freezer. And I tell you what, I'm so glad I did. But it left me without enough soup to get through the winter. David, who always catches something, particularly after the holidays when we've been at parties and everybody's been around, he likes his chicken soup. And he usually wants some kind of noodles or rice added to it when it comes time to serve. All right, let's get some seasonings in there. We'll do salt and pepper. I'm gonna have a lot of chicken left. Maybe I'll freeze dry some as well. All right, salt, pepper. Garlic. Let me get some rosemary and thyme. Do you hear the lawnmower now? I knew I had it too good. All right. I can't believe I jinxed myself that way. Okay, just some dried rosemary. Put a little bit in each jar. I also hear a truck backing up, in addition to the lawnmower or the blower or whatever the heck it is. We've been having a round of new roofs going on in the spring. I think we had one in April and one Memorial Day weekend. We had massive hailstorms, and everybody's roofs were just destroyed. Ours was destroyed. We had shingles laying in the driveway. It was a mess. Our gutters were all fallen off and broken. So we've all kind of been going through it, but I guess there's been so much going on weather-wise that it's taken a while for some of the folks to get their roofs done. All right, a little bit of pepper in each about a half teaspoon of salt in each. Do you find that when you're sick, a little extra salt, some electrolytes really helps? So while I don't often salt just plain chicken, and you'll see when I do the rotisserie chicken by itself, I won't be salting it because sometimes I give the liquid in that to the animals, but this is just, it's just going to be eaten by one person. So I'm going to go ahead and salt that. Now, oops, thyme, let's get some thyme in there. Chicken soup is one of those things that everybody has their own way of doing it. I don't necessarily have a way of doing it. I like it to smell like Thanksgiving, basically is what I like it to smell like. Other than that, whatever's in it is generally pretty good, I think. All right. I'm gonna go to a 1-inch headspace, debubble, come back and check again. I'm going to have a lot of chicken. I'm kind of wondering, I've had several people ask me after the tikka masala video if you can go ahead and put chicken in there and process it for 75 minutes. I may give that a shot, even though it's already been processed. I think I may try that. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and get these rims cleaned up and get the lids and rings on so that they are ready for the canner. So I'm thinking that if I'm going to try the tikka masala sauce with the chicken in it, I think I'm going to pull out the All-American canner rather than give up a couple of spots in my Presto Electric. That way I can do 10 pints. So I could do 4 of the soup, 4 of the plain rotisserie chicken, and 2 of the tikka masala. Let's do that. If nothing else, I can answer someone's question that it either works well or it doesn't work so well. Oops. All right, I'm going to move these back over here to wait for the other jars. Because everything is cold, the canner's going to be cold as well, so I don't need to worry about heating up the water in there. All right, I'm going to grab a couple more jars. Let's do the tikka masala first. I had brought this up for dinner tonight, so we may come up with another dinner because this one will not have settled down after processing. So I had someone ask me if I would do a butter chicken recipe. One, because she said she didn't like cinnamon. Well, there's also garam masala has cinnamon in it. There's also garam masala in butter chicken. If you don't like cinnamon, you can do the tikka masala sauce and just not add the additional cinnamon, and perhaps it won't be something that you really taste at all. But the other thing I was going to say is that, yeah, the recipes are slightly different, but honestly, to me, they're not different enough that I would bother canning a separate recipe. You know, you can just add yogurt, basically, when you go to serve this instead of the coconut milk that I typically add. So, I don't know, that's my thought on that. No need to double can something. All right, let's go ahead and get some chicken in first. So again, I'm going to cut this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of this in there. Probably going to add a little chicken broth to this as well, just to thin it out just a bit with the chicken in there. Oh, it smells delicious. I'm going to pack a little more chicken, and then I'm going to add some chicken broth to that. All right, let's debubble this and see where we are. I'm a mess, hang on. Okay, I think both of those are good. Where's my... We're going to see. I'll try to let you know before the end of the video. We'll give those a shot. Interested to see how liquidy they come out, and if it still is an easy thing to cook up and get the right consistency of sauce when you add either yogurt or coconut milk. Okay, those look pretty good. Curious about those now. All right, now let's do just some rotisserie chicken. So I'm going to leave these pretty large. Too much stuff on my board here. And I'm going to want a bunch in there because when I'm using this, it is because I'm making, you know, dinner for two, you know, with whether it's tikka masala or some kind of Mexican something, whatever it may be. I want enough chicken in here that it feeds two of us easily. I'm still going to have enough left for dinner tonight. Not packed quite as well. All right, let's get some broth in here, debubble, and see what else I can fit in there. Plenty of room for chicken in that one. You can certainly add salt, pepper, whatever seasonings you want to this. Salt and pepper, probably they can go with any dish you're going to come up with to use, but anything beyond that may limit you in terms of what you can do with the chicken. All right, I need 2 more lids and 3 more rings. All right, I'm going to pull the All-American canner out, get that fired up on the stove, get these in, clean up my mess, and then we're going to come back and make fire cider together. And plenty of chicken for dinner. But I used my tikka masala sauce, and it sounds like I'll probably have to eat some this week as well, so I can report back on how this worked out. So I got to come up with some other idea for dinner. Okay, all the chicken is in the canner, so let's make some fire cider. This is not something I normally do. I'm using somebody else's recipe, which I'll link down below. I'm going to be very loose in it because she has weighed everything, and I'm not going to deal with the scale because I need to replace the battery. So we're just going to toss stuff in. Her recipe also makes a quart. I'm going to make a half gallon. So I'm not sure why I bothered to print the recipe, quite frankly, except that I don't want to miss anything that should be in there. So I'm going to start just by chopping up some garlic. Just big chunks. We're going to strain this later. I'm sure many more of you have made fire cider than have not. There are going to be 6 of us here for the holidays. So start feeding this to David early on because he does tend to catch things fairly readily. And then make sure I give it to the kids, and well, to all of us once everybody gets here. We have 2 of them flying in, so you know, you never know what comes from the plane or from the, I'm gonna want some more onion, or from the airport or whatever. All right. I think I'm just really gonna fill this up pretty full. And then top it all off with apple cider vinegar. And then it's going to sit for 30 days to 6 weeks, which will be just about the perfect timing. I had thought I was too late, but when I started looking at it, it seems I'm just fine. And what I don't have is any fresh turmeric. I wasn't really thinking it all the way through when I was at the store, but I do have some reasonably fresh powdered turmeric, so we're going to use that. Which actually I think is what the recipe doesn't call for turmeric at all. So I'm going to add turmeric. I'm going to add a couple of things to her recipe. Okay, so there is my onion. I have half of an organic lemon left, pre-washed. So I think I'm going to put that in there as well. Again, hers doesn't have any citrus, but lots of the recipes out there that I saw did. That's some horseradish root that is really ready to be used here. Oh, good gravy. There we go. Oh, it smells delicious. Oh, I love horseradish. I think I'm just going to go ahead and add all of this to it. I never work with fresh horseradish. I was kind of surprised I could find it at the store. All right. Now ginger, that is my favorite. I'm going to add a ton of ginger. Now, I think I'm going to wash this up. Yeah, and get a small paring knife to peel it. Okay, I'm not going to be too precise with peeling because we are going to strain all of this out. Quiet again. The lawn noises have stopped, the truck noises have stopped. Okay, one more piece. I'm going to add cinnamon and some, as I said, some powdered turmeric. What else am I adding? Ooh, jalapenos. I have to get those in there. And some star anise and probably some cloves. And you can go the herby route and add some fresh rosemary and thyme and oregano and all that. But since we're going to be adding a little bit of honey when it comes time to take this, I think I'm going to stick more with kind of those holiday flavors that can go sweet. Jalapenos, I have cinnamon sticks, cloves, and star anise. All right, she didn't add cloves, so I'm just gonna love cloves. Too many? I don't know. We'll find out. Couple of cinnamon sticks in there. I think I'll put 3 cinnamon sticks in there. And some jalapeno. So the question is, leave the seeds in or take the seeds out? I think I'll leave the seeds in for one of them. Yes, maybe. Got them kind of large. All right, seeds in for this one. Do you think I need another one? What does she say? 1.5 ounces of jalapenos. I have no idea how much that weighs. Absolutely none. Let's leave it at 1. Let's leave it at 1, just in case. All right, and then some turmeric. Now, I wish I had some fresh turmeric root, but I don't, so we're gonna do this. A teaspoon. We'll see. And some apple cider vinegar. Okay, look at that. That was 32 ounces of apple cider vinegar. Perfect. Didn't say anything about weighting this down. Let me take a look here. Layer everything, cover with apple cider vinegar, adding additional vinegar to cover the contents of the jar as necessary. All right, so let me see if I have any more apple cider vinegar to cover that. All right, so we'll just top this off. Been a lot of trash today. Okay, so now we just put a lid on this, which I have somewhere. Put a lid on this, set it in a dark room, shake it every day for 30 to 45 days. It says 4 to 6 weeks. Go ahead and give it a shake once. Oh, look how beautiful it is. I think that my daughter is particularly going to love this. She loves ginger. Okay. All right, beautiful. I have this, and if it doesn't work, I have chicken soup to hopefully get us through the winter. All right, let's take a look at the results. Now, I've had a lot of questions about rotisserie chicken since the pantry tour. So I want to talk about it just a little bit. It is not the be-all and end-all. It doesn't stay completely together like you just pulled it off the chicken breast, right? But it does do a much better job at maintaining that consistency than, say, a raw packed chicken or a chicken breast that you brown and then put in some chicken broth or whatever to can. That's going to come out much drier than what you get with rotisserie chicken. So I've also had the question, is it the same for a baked chicken that you do at home? Pretty much it is. I don't know whether it is the cooking it on the bone that makes the difference. I don't know. I don't know what exactly it is. I feel like that's a big part of the difference. And then I feel like there's a part two with the rotisserie chicken. And I just hesitate to even acknowledge this in my own mind, that it is probably something that they inject that chicken with that keeps it moist. So, you know, that's one of those where I'm just choosing to stick my head in the sand and hope that everything is okay. But it does maintain, I think, a moisture, slightly better texture than, you know, just a plain baked chicken, and far better in texture and in moisture than like a raw packed chicken breast. So I'm going to bring you in. We're going to take a close-up look at each of these jars, and then I'm going to open one of the Chicken Tikka Masalas and give that a try, see how it worked, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is just the plain rotisserie chicken in a little bit of broth. So it is packed pretty tightly with chicken, but you can see that the form of the chicken stays put. Now, yes, it'll start to break apart when you pull it out, if you stir it around or anything. However, if I wanted to just pour this out and have some chicken with lunch, you know, for a keto lunch, I would do this and maybe some cheese on the side. It would just be perfect. Now, if I were going to make chicken salad, add the mayo so that there was plenty of moisture in there, then using the raw pack chicken breast would be just fine. But anyway, that is how rotisserie chicken looks when it's canned. There's the chicken soup. Now, this one I cut into bite-sized pieces. You can see the herbs, the vegetables floating around in there. So this one will definitely shred when you put it into your mouth, but it's still in pieces of chicken when you go to serve it, which is what I like. All right, let's take a look at the Chicken Tikka Masala. Now, again, I did this one in bite-sized pieces. So here we are. This sauce, remember, I added some chicken broth to it, and I split 1 pint of sauce between 2 pints of Chicken Tikka Masala with the chicken in here. So the sauce has already been processed once, and then I added some rotisserie chicken, and then we processed it the whole thing again for 75 minutes. So this is how it looks. Still pieces of chicken in there. It will fall apart. It will fall apart. I'm just telling you now. However, I like the texture much better in a dish like this than the texture of, you know, if you want to call it ugly chicken, but raw pack chicken breast. Okay, so let's go to the stove and we're going to cook this up and give it a taste test and see how we did. Okay, let's get this jar open. I've got my pan out and heating up, and this is a really big pan for one little dish here, but that's what I have. This, by the way, this is the 10-inch made in ceramic clad pan. I've been using it for about 6 months now, and I love it. I need to get the 8-inch one though, because it is a little large when I'm just doing something like this. But I do love that pan. Okay, so, oh my gosh. Oh, it smells delicious. Okay, there's the inside of the jar. Let's get this in here. Now, I don't need to add any kind of oil or anything in this pan, but if you don't have a pan that is non-stick, and this one is non-stick, but it's not, it is a non-toxic non-stick. That's hard to say. It is a non-toxic non-stick. So if you have a pan, a stainless pan or something, feel free to add a little bit of oil or some coconut oil or some butter, whatever it is that suits you. It's just fine. Okay. Okay. Can you see? I'm going to bring you in just a little bit more. Zoom you in a bit, I think. All right, now you can see that. So I'm just going to heat this up, and then I'm going to add a little bit of coconut milk. This is the one, is that the one in English? Yeah, sort of. That's the one I use, and I love it. But a canned coconut milk, you don't want to use, a drinking coconut milk like So Delicious or something like that. You want the fat in it. Okay, so this is my food, so I'm going to go ahead and stick my fingers in here. But so I just broke this piece of chicken apart. And you can see it still holds together reasonably well, but it will shred when I go to eat it. But for now, I've got a pretty piece of chicken. All right, we'll give that a second. Now, I'm not making a full meal right now because we're actually going to our friend's house for dinner. But I am going to have a little bite of this, and then I'll give David the bulk of it for his lunch just with a spoon. I'm not going to deal with the cauliflower rice and all that kind of good stuff. All right, so while we're heating up here, let's talk about some other ways to serve this. Now, the traditional way is just on some white rice, but you can use any kind of rice you want. I would use cauliflower rice probably more often than anything else, but that would be my keto low carb version. There are other things you could do with this as well. You can serve it, I love to serve it on top of roasted veggies. So if it is fall and you are, say you're watching your carbs, I might do roasted broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, and then serve it on top of that in a big bowl with lots of veggies. If I were not watching my carbs, I might serve it on a big bowl of roasted sweet potatoes or butternut squash and beets and Brussels sprouts and all kinds of yummy fall vegetables. Now in the spring, I would do it maybe on top of a stir fry, what I call in the spring a green stir fry. So it's all of your spring veggies. It's the pea pods, asparagus, broccoli, bok choy, spring onions, that kind of thing. That makes a wonderful stir fry as a base to your bowl. Maybe in the summer you have roasted peppers and onions and zucchini and yellow squash. That's also a great base for this. It doesn't always have to be rice or cauliflower rice or something resembling rice. Okay, we're starting to heat up here. So the other thing I want to mention, which is an argument against adding the chicken, and like I said, I haven't tried it yet with the chicken in it, so we'll get to that. But another reason to keep the tikka masala sauce as just a plain jar of sauce in your pantry is that you may not always want to have it with chicken, right? There's no rule that you can't have it with some other animal protein, and there's certainly no rule that you can't have it with like some roasted chickpeas or some roasted cauliflower, as instead of chicken, mix in the cauliflower, or if you do soy, what is the soy thing that's tofu, you could do it with tofu. You could do, I don't know, I'm sure that there are plenty of other lentils. Lentils would probably be really good in this instead of the chicken. So there are all kinds of, you have so many more options if you just keep it as a straight sauce. But I'm going to give this a try because I know somebody's going to want the full meal in a jar. All right, let's add a little bit of coconut milk. So if you remember, I added a little bit of chicken stock to this just to loosen the sauce up a bit because it had already been processed. It's probably a little looser than I would like it right now, but we'll see. All right, I'm going to let this cook down just a bit, and then we'll get it served up and give it a shot. Looks good, doesn't it? So if this were going to be, let's say that this version turns out really nicely and I want to do some chicken tikka masala in a jar for 2 of us, I would probably use one of the 24-ounce jars because I don't know, I mean, this would be plenty for 2 or 3 of me, but with a David in the mix, it might not be enough for him to have as much as he wants and for me to have anything left. So we'll see. All right, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so that is a piece of chicken. I hope that the camera is focusing on that. I think it is, but without my glasses, it's hard to tell. Okay, seems very hot. I'm going to take a smaller bite here first. Flavor stays great. It's a little bit milder, probably because of the added chicken broth. But it's really delicious. Okay, let's try this big piece of chicken. Now, the chicken, as I said, it will fall apart when I eat it, but at least I get to envision eating an actual piece of chicken rather than just a shred of chicken. Because remember, this has been, I mean, basically the same thing as pressure cooked, right? And if you put chicken in a pressure cooker, it's going to come out as shredded chicken. It's not dry. It's not dry at all. I like this. I think this is really good. So if you wanted to do it this way, consider how large of a jar you're going to need. You know, 2 normal size appetites, this is probably just fine. A pint, and then put it on top of whatever base you have. And, you know, if that base is not veggies, then maybe some veggies on the side. Or a, what is the Indian bread? Roti? Chapati? I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a difference in those, but it all sounds good to me. So any of that would be good. If you're, you know, if you're keto, a low carb tortilla or something is always kind of nice to help sop up the sauce, basically. So that to me is a win. That to me is a win. So I'm glad to see it. I hope that answers your questions. And I hope you can now see why you might want to can some rotisserie chicken or bake some rotisserie chicken at home and have something just a little bit different than the raw pack chicken breast on your shelf. So if you like the video, I hope you'll give us a thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed, I wish you would subscribe. That would make me very happy. So thank you so much. I'm so glad to have you here with me. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.